AITA for labeling all the bottles in the house because my adult children are idiots? I have two of my children living with me. One has graduated from college and the other is a junior. I have to purchase medicated shampoo because of a scalp condition. It is by prescription and it is expensive. It also comes in packaging that is meant to be stored upright. Not on its side and definitely not upside down. My daughter has her hair products in the shower and I do not touch them. My son also keeps his Axe body wash, shampoo, conditioner, woman repellent in the shower. I also do not touch it since I have zero desire to smell like a high school locker room. I keep my shampoo in there as well since it is my house and I can keep my hit wherever I want. For some reason the two of them cannot understand that not all packaging is meant to be upside down. They have already wasted an entire bottle of my shampoo by storing it upside down after they touched it for some reason. It all dripped out the spout, which is not engineered for that. I talked to both of them and I explained that they should not touch my stuff and that if they accidentally tip over my shampoo it was meant to bastard with the lid at the top. I came home last week to find my shampoo leaking out of the bottle again. Upside down. I ordered 500 stickers that say, "This side up," with an arrow pointing upwards when the words are upright, and I put them on everything in the house that might leak. With my shampoo being literally covered in them. They had friends over last weekend and they noticed that the relish, ketchup, mustard, mayonnaise, etc. were all labeled. My kids were embarrassed when they explained why. They think I am an asshole for putting labels on everything since they only *UCK with my shampoo. Since it is $80 a bottle, I said I would take off all the labels if they agree to pay for my shampoo. Thus far they have declined. AITA for telling my sister her 4 kids are her +1? I am 30M, in the midst of planning a wedding and deciding everything regarding the guest list. We have a hard cap of people allowed given the venue's small size. We can only have 105 people, anything after that would not be allowed due to fire codes and venue policy. I have an older sister Mia whose life is a bit of a mess right now. She and her latest ex-partner and dad of one of her kids broke up in the last 6 months. She has 4 kids and the Yare all living at my parents' house for the time being. We opted to not have a child-free wedding after there being so much drama about it, so Mia's 4 kids between 4 and 11 will be at our wedding. She recently got her invite that stated her name under 4 kids' names. She then called me and said, I assume as an adult I also get a +1. We told her no. She's not in a serious relationship and she and her kids are already about 5% of our total guest list. Our caterer also doesn't charge less for kids, so we're paying about $400 for those 4 kids to be there. We don't want to pay another $100 for some random that she'd bring. She's not dating anyone but said she could easily find a date or bring a friend to have someone to dance with. We told her she has 4 kids there. That should be more than enough instead of having a +1. My dad is my side, and is tired of her taking up their house. My mom is a little more sympathetic and saying I should allow her to have a +1 because that's what you do for adults. Spending $600 in just my sister, her kids, and a date when she's not seeing anyone seriously just seems ridiculous to me though. She is pretty ticked off though. Am I being the here? AITA for telling people my brother chose a dog over me? Throw away. My 28F brother, 26 meters, was my best friend growing up. He didn't feel the same way. I was a lot more awkward as a kid, so I often just followed his friend groups around, even though many of them bullied me. He never stood up for me, but when we were alone he went back to being fun and nice, so I always forgave him. When we were teenagers and got part-time jobs, I started buying him birthday and Christmas presents even though he never did the same. Our parents' side it was because he's younger and would eventually, but to this day I have never received a gift from him personally. Now that we're adults, I call and text him occasionally to check in, and though he's nice when he responds, he doesn't initiate. I figured that was just how he is. I always put more work in, but he's my brother and I love him. I'm graduating from graduate school soon, and I invited my whole family out to celebrate. Everyone got a plane ticket and hotel room I'm paying for and it's been planned out for months. The other day, my brother called me to say that he was picking up a new puppy the day before my graduation and that he couldn't make it. Something inside me broke a little. I asked if it really had to be that day, if he couldn't postpone it for a week or something, but he said no dice and to cancel his reservations. I said okay and hung up. I decided I was done being in a one-way relationship with him, even though I always thought of him as my best friend. Later, I was talking to our mom and she was saying how excited she is to see us, and I told her, oh, brother's not coming. He chose a dog over me. She asked what I was talking about, and I explained. She said she was disappointed but not surprised. Word got out and my brother called me, really hushed and sad, and said what I said wasn't cool. I said I just told the truth. He called me and we haven't spoken since. I said what I said in anger and bitterness, but now I'm feeling really guilty because I've always forgiven my brother and have never heard him sound the way he did on the phone. AITA? Some edits because I guess I didn't explain some things properly. I didn't invite myself to parties or social events my brother got invited to with his friends. When I said I followed around his friend group, I meant sit near them on the school bus ordering assemblies. My brother has a social life outside of me which I was not invited to, nor forced myself into. I did not insert myself into his friend groups, just that when there were group functions I would hover near them as opposed to being in a corner. When we were alone we acted very friendly with each other and we would hang out regularly, like playing video games together. Had agreed to go to my graduation before I bought the hotel and plane tickets. I did not assume he would attend. AITA for making my nephew cry on his birthday party over some gifts. My F26 sister, F29, has a son Eric, he's 8 years old. I don't visit a lot, we live away, but I see them, and most of my family, at birthdays and holidays. When I visit I usually buy Eric a toy or some candy, as he's my only nephew. TBH I like to spoil him and maybe I am a little bit to blame for what happened too. It was Eric's birthday this week. I visited them. And I brought him a nice car toy. The car was quite big and had lights and stuff. When I got to the party I wished him a happy birthday and handed him the gift. He opened and he loved it. He said, so far this is the best one. Which at the time I thought he was just excited, but with what happened later I kinda get the idea it was more malicious intended. Like an hour or so after the party started, when everyone had already arrived, Eric made an announcement to the table in which the adults were sitting. He said that I have won and that I was now the person who he loved the most because my gift was the one he liked the most. I thought it was sweet that he liked it. Then he told to my mom that their gift sucked. She brought him a board game, so he didn't love her anymore. He also told one of his friends that next year he won't be invited because his gift was poor. He gifted him a set of dinosaurs figures. I think this whole thing of ranking the gifts people got them was pretty hitty. I expected my sister or her husband to say something, but they didn't, they just laughed. So I told Eric that he's not supposed to say that about his gifts, people get them what they can and he should be grateful with it. He said that he doesn't understand why he has to love people who doesn't buy him nice gifts. I genuinely can't believe my sister is teaching this bullshit to her son. His dad told him, yeah, they should give you all the best, so I then again told him that a person's worth is not about how expensive or big the gift they got them was, and that if he thought that way then I will not be continuing buying him gifts. Eric started to cry. My sister told me off because I made him cry, but most of my family and some of her in-laws were on my side and told them it was bad to teach their kids such thing. Our mom was quite affected and I wanted to leave too, so we left. After that, my sister texted me later to call me AmItheAsshole for leaving before the candles were blown for telling her child he won't get any more gifts from me. She said I shouldn't make empty threats to a child. I said that it's not empty and it's not a threat, it's a promise until they teach their kids some manners. Am I wrong for discussing this when my nephew was present? Am I being unreasonable to him since he's young? And would I be wrong in the future if I keep my promise and do not buy him a gift the next time we see each other? AITA for eating the toppings off my BFS pizza. Earlier tonight I ordered a Hawaiian pizza with my boyfriend. We've only been dating a month, so it's the first time I ate pizza with him. We only finished about half, and then we went to watch TV. I was still hungry, so I ate all the toppings off the pizza. When he saw, he absolutely flipped out. He said that he was saving it for lunch tomorrow, that he had never met anyone who would do anything like this, and was just generally really upset. I thought he was joking and laughed it off, but it's been a couple hours and he is still upset. He's talking about how he was looking forwards to having the leftover pizza for lunch, and now I've ruined his lunch. I offered to buy him another pizza, but he kept saying that it wasn't about that, and I just ruined his day. Is he overreacting or AITA? WIBTA if I don't let my family member and their fiancé sleep in my bed when they come to visit. I, 37F, am about to have 2 visitors to my apartment in a couple of weeks, M42, F39. I have acting bed that I sleep in, and I have a queen-sized Murphy bed that is in my office. The couple will be staying a night at my place before continuing on their road trip. For additional context, I'm 6 feet 0 and built like a brick hit house. This couple are both over 6 feet and in the very overweight, very large category. The issue. The couple asked to spend the night. I said sure, I have a bed. They asked if they could have my bed, the king size, and I said no. Thistled to a, we'd be more comfortable before our road trip if we got to sleep in the bigger bed. I said, you have a queen size bed or an air mattress as your options at my place, take your pick. They called me an AmItheAsshole and said they would discuss it further closer to the date of their arrival. Wibda for not letting them sleep in my bed.